Hello out there. This is Pamela Fagan Hutchins, and you are watching Wine, Women, and Writing. This is a show where I talk with other authors about their books, and I really focus in on other female writers and their awesome female characters. Today will be no exception. We'll be talking to a really cool guest. Spoiler alert, she's on screen in just a moment. Great smile. And I have to do my introductory stuff first. So this is a solely owned and copyrighted production of Authors on the Air Global Radio Network, and all hail Pam Stack, our Uber producer, who I love. And thank you, you guys, for your support. Last week, Switchback went to number 25 on Amazon. I'm super excited. It's got some wonderful energy, and it's thanks to a lot of you that support me on this page. So blessings to ya. Today, we've got a guest I'm really excited about. So to my right, your left, I don't know how it looks on the screen. This is Emily Bleeker.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today.
I'm excited. I know that my listeners / watchers are excited. And I'm especially excited because we bonded, you guys, right before we went on the air over what it's like to be home during COVID with a lot of people in the house. So you've got a crowd there with you.
Yeah. I have 4 kids, and I'm a single mom, so I don't have to deal with the husband side of it. But four kids between the ages of 15 and 8.
Oh, wow. And so you've got 4 kids. Do you have pets in there too? Is there an animal kingdom?
We have a bird and a turtle, but our sweet puppy passed away last year. So
no. Well, yeah, big puppy-sized hole in everyone's hearts, I bet. But turtles aren't too disruptive. That's good. That's great pet choice, Mom.
Quiet. That is the kind of anyone should get.
Absolutely. So have you been doing the homeschooling thing while you're out too? So you're trying to write and release a book and homeschool and everything else that it is that you do. How's it going?
Yeah. Well, actually, that's what they're doing right now. Before I came on here, I was like, you guys need to go and don't talk and don't come in and learn. We'll see how it goes. You know? Hopefully they'll figure things out. It's been crazy. Like, it's crazy trying to get all of it. It really, really is. But, you know, I just kind of have this thought of like, we're just going to get through it. We just keep focusing on doing what we can, and we will get through this, you know?
Absolutely. And yet the burden on, I mean, for one, I know that it makes us all appreciate the educators that are currently taking care of the homeschool, you know, a lot of times still working. My daughter-in-law is as a teacher, and, you know, her apartment has become an art studio open to the public. She's an art teacher because it's now inviting the kids in and doing it all online. But we sure do appreciate that that they are there all the rest of the time. But do you have a background as an educator? Did I read that somewhere?
Yeah, actually, I was a kindergarten teacher.
Oh, wow.
And,
so cute.
Well, I taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade as well. But yeah, I was a kindergarten teacher for a certain amount of time, and I absolutely adored it. But I found that teaching your own children is so much harder. So,
oh my gosh, they just
I church, and I taught music, and all the kids listen to me, and I used to be like, I have magic. I will get all of you to be quiet, and I will make that magic work. I'll close my eyes when I open them in 3. By the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. You'll all be quiet. And it worked for everybody except for my son. And he was like, he goes, she's not magic. Don't be fooled. She's not magic. And I was like, dang it, Johnny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so now you've got 4 of them that don't think you're magic at home.
There's no magic here, guys. None.
So when I should have mentioned this up front, you guys, but Emily's new release, What It Seems, is just fantastic. I got an advanced copy and I was super excited about that. So thank you. We're going to talk a lot about that. But before we drop the subject of the whole at home thing, so when I was Facebook stalking you in preparation to talk to you today, I was very intrigued by this fancy dresses thing that you've been doing. So what's up with your fancy dresses?
Well, I just kind of noticed that like people in movies, they're just always kind of sitting around their house at home wearing cute little dresses, like sundresses or whatever. You just walk up and, oh, I'm wearing a dress that I'm gardening today. So I thought that kind of works right now, you know, like we're doing all kinds of normal things and shouldn't we get fancy a little bit? I mean, it was fun. It was a fun thing to do. I still kind of throw on a dress every once in a while now still because it just makes your day feel a little more special being a little dressed up, you know?
Absolutely. Did your kids participate at all with you in fancy dress, or did they just like go, oh my God?
My daughter did. My daughter did. She played along, but my boys were like, no, thank you. They told me I look cute though, which is their job. So
that is their job. Boys are sweet.
Yeah. They are. They're so sweet. We watched videos last night that they found these VHS videos from when I was a teenager. And my second oldest goes, how old were you there? I'm like 17. He's like, how old are you now? I'm like almost 40. He's like, Mom, how have you not aged a day? I'm like, do you want money?
Oh my gosh. I love your son.
Now more even.
They're just boys. There's just something about their sweetness. It just kills me. And so, you know, my response to COVID has been to feel fancy. I put on lipstick, and I did for you today. So this is fancy.
That's awesome.
You're welcome.
I felt a little fancy today. I got mine.
I thought about, oh, you do. You have yours right there.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. I wondered today if we should be wearing masks because look at us. We're so close.
No.
But I don't know which way to move to keep my social distance from you.
Very, very
but I'm in rural Texas. Where are you?
I am in, I keep disappearing. Sorry. I am in North Suburban Chicago.
Okay, so we are far away. We're all right.
We're good. We're good.
Now tell me, this is your fifth or sixth novel, which?
This is my fifth.
Your fifth. And so releasing during COVID, different or really not so much?
It is insanely different. It was, well, I released on the 17th of March, which was the first day that the second day that kids were not in school here. And it just was craziness. You know, I think everybody thought they would have more time as a result of all of this, but I think women in particular, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but I think women in particular are busier than they've ever been. I think there's a huge burden upon women. And I'm not saying that children are burdened. They're absolutely fantastic, joyous creatures.
And they're hard.
It's a lot of work. And so it's doing all of your jobs all at the same time. And so I think that a lot of us have had less time to do what we need to for ourselves. And that includes reading. So it's been interesting, but you know, we're all going through stuff. And that's what I just keep telling myself is everybody is going through something. So this is the thing that's happening for me, you know?
It's interesting because I'm finding that some people, like I hear from some readers that pretty much they're escaping into a book and not coming out until this is over. And then and I normally read obsessively. I mean, I'm either writing or I'm reading. I haven't read a single book since this started. So I guess we go to one extreme or the other. And, you know, and then thinking about our readers and how they're going through what we're going through, I have a lot of empathy, you know, that we may not be the person we were when this started. And we may never be again. I mean, this has been crazy. So with respect to releasing your book, do you normally do a bunch of live appearances and things like that in conjunction with it? Or has this been similar in terms of releasing online?
I usually do local things, and then I usually have a big party every time I've had a nice lovely launch party and things like that. So, and I've made appearances in the community, and I usually go to a conference every year that's going online now. So that's this week. And so a lot of those things that were planned just disappeared.
Exactly.
And, you know, and at first it was like, oh, we'll do it later. Now it's like, we just won't do it, you know?
It is weird. And I mean, I'm seeing a ton, as things fly through my Facebook feed, which I have not given up. I've given up reading, but for some reason I haven't given up Facebook.
Right.
But I'm seeing a ton of people doing like virtual blog tours and things virtual tours and things that weren't so big before. And there's a whole lot of it going on now. People doing more of like what we're doing as well.
Right.
Although I've been doing this for a couple of years, I feel like a trailblazer. But kidding. But it is it is really different. And releasing a book, especially a wonderful book like yours, it's really and truly, it is a big deal. Yet it in the wake of COVID has been. It's like giving birth and no one's doing a baby shower, or or it's just, it's a weird feeling. Like, did that happen? And for a writer, so much of what we do already is just us and our imaginary friends. It's almost like I've just been talking to myself this whole time. It's weird, but people are still reading. So it's you're still making the connection, yet there's just this piece that's different and missing. Crazy. And so tell me more about this. Tell our readers, our listeners, and our viewers more about what it seems, so that those that haven't gotten into it yet can be enticed.
Yeah. So this story came to me actually because my daughter, two things. I was watching the autobiography about Elizabeth Smart, and she said one line in her autobiography where she said that after a couple of weeks, the man who abducted her, Mitchell, had taken off the cables that kept her in place, but that his words were far stronger chains than any cable ever had been. And that kind of stuck with me in my brain and made me think about all of the ways that people stay in bad situations, whatever they are, because of invisible chains. So that's probably where this originated. But then it went, when my daughter was younger, she loved watching those YouTube families. Have you seen those at all?
Yes.
Yeah. And they're like, everything's perfect. Everybody come in. We're going to make slime today and no one will argue, And it drove me crazy, especially because like I was going through a divorce and she was young. And so she thought like, my family doesn't look like that. And I'm like, oh, sweetie, nobody's family looks like that. To me, those are like the sitcoms of this age, It's the perfect, cute little family, but that's scripted, like, or at least heightened in a lot of ways,
Yes.
So I had this idea of like, what if a girl who had been kept in isolation for her whole life, this was her only idea of what family was watching it virtually on the internet. And what would that look like? What would she think family was as a result of watching these YouTube families? So, and that's kind of where the story came from. And that's what the story is about. It's about a girl who was adopted by a foster parent. And then she could only watch kids' YouTube her whole life. And she fell in love with this one family and thought, I want my family to be like that.
It had, for me, both a serious creep factor, because of the isolation, the captivity element of it, and then this otherworldly creep factor in the sense that these, like you say, these YouTube families, while they may be lovely, they present a crafted image of what's going on, and so the juxtaposition and then the intermingling of that was just genius. It was really cool. So I highly recommend you guys to go check it out. And as an added bonus, a lot of us have felt captive in a way by invisible chains with what's going on right now. And I think it will resonate with people because of this, that you'll be able to relate maybe in ways you haven't been able to before because of what you're currently going through.
That's a good point. I like that.
Yeah, it's very cool. And so Elizabeth Smart sounds like she was a big inspiration, and then these other families. So this book, very cool. But do you have a favorite of your 5 books? Not of your children, although this is something like it. But a favorite.
I think my favorite is still my first, Wreckage. I love all of them in different ways, but Wreckage I spent 4 years writing. I mean, writing and editing and preparing, you know, it was the passion project of my heart that I never thought would get published. So I think it will always hold a special little place, you know?
Yeah. It is weird how that first book gets in and becomes like, I don't know, just special because it was the one that validated that you can really do it.
Yeah.
And then to have the success you're having with this. So tell us a little bit about this pilot project that's going on with Wreckage, because this is sexy and exciting.
It's exciting. And today, actually, I woke up this morning and had an alert that there's been a review of the script. So the script is officially done. It's out there in the world. So
cool.
That's
yay. Now, okay. What role have you gotten to have with the scripts?
Nothing. So nothing yet.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah. I like what they've done to it though. Like I like there are several things, like they've added some characters and some plot twists that I won't reveal, but it's really neat. You know, I think some people might feel intimidated or feel like don't take my baby, but I'm kind of like, when I send my kids off to school and my kids just get better from learning, I'm like, take my baby, make it better.
Exactly. Well, this cord's driving me crazy. I want to take the sting thing off and just keep messing with it. When a couple of years ago, I was working with a screenwriter on my first book. It has not gone anywhere. So let me preface it by saying that, you guys. But the process of working with someone who took your baby and made it something different was really fascinating. And the way that people write for series, episode or episodic viewing is so different from what we write as a novel. And at first it was intimidating, but then it was kind of cool to see, okay, I see this arc you're trying to do. And I found it really, really cool. Didn't make me want to do it, if that makes sense. I could never
do it. I can say that. I could never do it, but I am impressed with people who can. And I don't know, I think you also have to think about the future a lot, like because that's what I thought. I'm excited for the book of becoming a show. I hopefully, fingers crossed, or at least a pilot. But I did think, like, how are they going to make this like a series? And now I see a little bit more how they've laid out the groundwork for that. And it's exciting, you know, because I don't know that I would have been able to think through that. So hashtag teamwork.
Because you don't write series. Yeah. Yeah. Hashtag teamwork. Yeah. Hashtag go Wreckage.
Yeah.
But you don't write series books either.
No, I don't.
Write standalone. So it was a leap and a leap, you know, to see how they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Well, I hope that CBS is really smart and picks it up, and then the viewers are really smart and make them go past that. So.
Yeah, it's through ABC, but yeah.
Oh, ABC. Sorry, ABC.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, and we don't know. And like you were just referencing, like each step is just a celebration, because each step is like, well, what happens next? We'll find out, you know. So.
When you write, do you envision what it would look like on the screen, or who might play the parts of the different characters?
I actually have a really hard time with that. No, I don't at all. Mm-hmm. I have my own thing. This is gonna sound crazy, guys, but they become people in my head, and like real people. So it's hard for me to even imagine them as actors. Like I really truly imagine them as their own people. So
okay, are you one of the characters when you write in any of your books? No. You never see yourself. Do you see any people in your life? I'm now your psychologist here.
I have only written one story where I actually imagined someone in it as someone else, and she was a minor character, and I told her about it, and I'm like, read this, see if you can find you, and she found herself. So, but that's cool. No, I have never, I find it hard to put somebody else in a story. I don't know why. That's just, I think some people find it easier to base it on somebody else. I find it so much easier just to see who they become and develop as I write them.
So when you're writing, are you writing to an outline that you do ahead of time, or you're a planner?
I'm not a planner, but you know, I have to submit a synopsis and all of that stuff. So I have to think through it, which is probably good. It definitely makes my process not as extended as I think it would be if I didn't have that and I didn't take the time to think through it ahead of time. But I definitely stray. Every single book, I think, except for one that I've written, the ending has changed, even into editing, like even into like after I've submitted it. So.
But isn't that the best where like a character or a plot point just hijacks you and you're like, I'm going where you go.
Yes, I love it. And I think that that's what makes a book feel authentic, is when you don't just keep it like, this is what I want you to do, but you really allow your characters to make choices according to who they are. Otherwise, it's just me on the page over and over again. And nobody wants that, let me tell you. Like,
I absolutely love when something happens and you realize this is the movie playing in my head. This is what is real, and I'm going to follow it. And you start typing as fast as you can go because you can't even keep up with this.
It's an amazing feeling. I love that.
Yeah, a lot of the rest of it sucks.
It does. They make it so romantic in movies and stuff. I'm like, lies. These are lies. Don't.
But so on your typical writing day, you get up and brush your teeth and wash your face and put on your clothes, and you are totally a normal human by the time you sit down and write?
Maybe not every day, but I try to. So when I was a stay-at-home mom, I tried to make it like this was my job, So like I get dressed, I get the kids, going. And of course there are sick days and there are tired days and there are days that we play it by ear. But I definitely try and have some kind of routine and like that, or else my days become mush, like absolute mush if I don't have that. That's the way
I think that's a lot of what's happening to people in quarantine, right? Is they never realize that when the world changes, like becoming a stay-at-home mom, go through these transitions where you're at home, that it's not the weekend, that you set up a routine and you do it, they become mush and you lose track. What day is today? And where am I?
Right. Who are you?
Is there anybody out there?
I still feel
I know. No, I'm impressed that you do that, really. And I think it's very healthy.
Aw, thanks.
See, I'm your psychologist again.
Let's meet every week.
I'm the psychologist that says you're okay. And people like you.
I'll be having lots of video conferences with you from now on. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll set it up every day. But have you had any other normal practices that you keep up during quarantine? Like, are you an exerciser? Are you Yeah,
I try and work out every day. I'm still getting the pandemic pudge, but that's okay. It will be a fantastic before picture is what I keep thinking.
Your fancy dresses are getting tighter then.
They're getting so much tighter. There's a reason I had to stop doing it every single day. But yes, I like running. And so I run, I do like other kinds of things like that. So, and then I'm trying to think, like I do improv with some not friends, but there's an improv theater that we obviously can't perform in, but we still have our rehearsals online every week. And so that's been nice to keep fresh and keep in contact with some humans and things like that. That's about it though. I think that's TV. Like, does that count?
I think that's pretty good. Have you been binging?
Food? Yes. No. Yeah, I've been watching lots. I watch right, but I watch Tiger King like everybody, but yeah, I've been watching a bunch of different things. I can't watch one for too long, or else my brain gets almost too attached to what's going on there, and I can't write as clearly. Same thing with books. Like if I'm reading a book that's too close to what I'm writing, it's not good for me in that time. So I jump around, but I've been watching. I love TV though. Like most people are like, I don't watch TV. I'm like, I love TV. I would marry TV, but TV would marry me.
TV gets around. It's sexy, but it doesn't make a long-term commitment. Yeah.
So funny.
Well, see, now here's the problem is I would love to talk to you all day. And And we could stay on all day. We might find that we only entertained ourselves, or we would need to switch to cocktails from my I promise this is water. I promise this is water, because we're doing this in the morning. We have been quarantining at our house. But all good things must come to an end, you guys. And so thank you for those of you that have been listening. If you're listening to this long after COVID was over and are like, those women are so pitiful, then, well, whatever. We're still in the thick of it. But appreciate you all. And Emily, I so appreciate you taking the time today to chat with the listeners and the viewers. And I hope you'll come back sometime for a new release.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. And you guys have a good one. Read a book. It really is good for you. I think I might even try to read one today, and start working on my next one. Oh, I forgot to ask, Emily, what are you working on now? I've got to do that. Are you in the midst of number 6?
I am, and I'm loving it. It's a little less thriller, a little more like historical mixed with a mystery. So it actually comes from a letter that I found from my actual family history. So I'll share that soon.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So now we have something to look forward to. And if you guys want to learn more about Emily, do you have a website we should point them to?
Yep, just emilybleeker.com.
Cool. So emilybleeker.com, you guys, and What It Seems, her new release. That's all I've got today. You guys, take care.